We're staying humble, we're staying grounded. I'm out. What was I made for if not to write unhinged Goodreads book reviews? So I don't actually have any words off the back of that.
I was just a hormonal, uncontrollable mess, and this just got me.
I feel like I'm gonna cry. Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video, a brand new reading vlog, and we are doing something very exciting today. We are reading some brand new releases. I have two that we're definitely going to read in this video. See if we get to a third. Not sure what that third is going to be, but I have already started the first book for this video. We have had some great releases recently, some very highly anticipated ones. I haven't done a video like this, I don't think, since April. I think April was the last one we did, and we read those like April crazy releases that we were all gagging for. And obviously, I don't know if you remember, but didn't have great luck. I didn't manage to find any 5 stars in that video. I was kind of disappointed. So fingers crossed, this is going to be better, but I'm at the same time not putting out the expectations that I'm going to find 5 stars, because that often means that the books are not 5 stars. So we're staying humble, we're staying grounded, and we're not wishing for something that is potentially not there. The first bit we're going to start in this video, well, which I've already started, but we're going to continue this video, is Daydream by Hannah Grace. I have the physical book coming in the post. I pre-ordered it from Waterstones, and it's this beautiful sprayed edge edition, so that should be coming from Waterstones. Started it this morning. On the treadmill at the gym, I started the audiobook on like my hot girl walk on the treadmill. Exhibit A, I'll insert the video here. So it was a good time. I didn't get very far in, but we made a start, and that's all that matters. I have now got it on my Kindle, so we can continue it. But essentially, from what I had read, Hallie and her boyfriend, I want to say Will, he is kind of giving her a hard time because she doesn't want to sleep with him. She's not ready. She keeps telling him she's not ready, and he's giving her a hard time about it. So they decide to kind of mutually break up, and he's putting a lot of the blame on her and going really hard on her, and it's making her feel quite vulnerable, and yeah, just not very good, understandably. And I think they're kind of family friends, so they see each other quite a lot, and he's saying, well, now it's going to make it awkward, like we're going to have to tell the family, it's going to be awkward explaining what's happened, and he's just kind of, yeah, putting a lot of the blame on Hallie, and it's not fair on her. So that's kind of as far as I've gotten. We haven't met Henry yet. Obviously, this is Henry's book. If you've read Icebreaker and Wildfire, this is Henry's book. Everyone has been waiting for Henry's book since Icebreaker blew up, and I'm very excited. This book is already going to be me coded, I can already tell. Hallie on the cover is wearing a folklore cardigan. I've already heard, when I was listening to the audiobook, multiple Taylor Swift references, and I saw on a TikTok that there's a Happy Place reference. Happy Place by Emily Henry reference, which, if you know, you know. This is one of my favourite books of all time. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. So, buckle up, read some more, I'll let you know how it's going, and I will give you an update. Fingers crossed I love this book, because I'm really, really excited, and it's been such a highly anticipated read that I can't cope. Welcome back to another reading vlog. I fear this is going to be a good one. So, get a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So I obviously told you we got the first chapter from Hallie's point of view, and that's kind of what I said before about the boyfriend situation. Bestie broke up with her boyfriend, and he was pretty horrible, probably an understatement. And we then got Henry's point of view, and Henry is the captain of the hockey team, and he has found out that he's failing one of his classes, and coach brings Henry into his office and is like, if you want to be captain, you need to basically turn this bad grade around. You need to make a change. So Henry's all deflated. He struggles in that class. He's pretty bright overall, but that class he particularly struggles with the content, struggles with the learning style, just really struggles. And Aurora and Russ from Wildfire, which is the second book in the series, Aurora suggests, oh, let's go to the bookshop so you can buy some books to help you become a master in your subject. And by the bookshop, or in another bookshop, there is a romance only bookshop, and that's where Hallie runs her book club. So she has a book club in a romance-only bookshop called Enchanted, which is very fitting. So Henry and Aurora are going to go, I'm assuming, to the bookshop, because Aurora wants to say hi to Hallie, because it's like a beginner to book club meeting. So she wants to go and say hi, support her, you know, send her love. And Henry's going with her, so I'm assuming this is how we're going to get the first meeting, which is exciting, very exciting.
I am obsessed with this book. I am 19% in.
I feel like I'm gonna cry. And I've read a lot of books like this recently. These main characters are just so relatable that I don't really know what to do with myself. Hallie, like, it's scary. So she's a reader. She has a romance book club. She just cut her hair to have a guess what length? Collarbone length. Did I just cut my hair to collarbone length? Yes. Literally a week ago. Literally a week ago today. She is very reserved, very quiet, loves to protect her own peace, and just doesn't really do a lot, which I can relate to on a personal level, and hasn't really done the typical experiences that other people her age have. Again, can relate to that on a personal level. So it may as well be me. And you know what? If I get to spend time with Henry, then make it me. Henry, again, is very quiet. They're very well suited in they kind of acknowledge each other's peace in a sense, and that's really, really nice to read about. Henry, I think, is more of a player though, and he does know how to work a woman, let's say, and he knows what he's doing in that department, but he's such a gentleman and been so kind to Hallie when Will's broken up with her. She has no friends because he's basically taken, they had joint friends and he's basically taken all her friends, so she has no friends anymore, and he's like, I'll be your friend, and they're spending time together. She's helping him write his essays for the class that he's failing. He's invited her to parties, and he's helping her open up, but like respectfully, and not pushing her. He's not pushing her out of her comfort zone, but he's helping her open up in the way that she wants to, but she's struggling to, if that makes sense. But I'm on chapter 8. I'm loving this. This is like the feeling I've been searching for in a book for a while. I've read some not great books recently and I've been searching for this feeling. This has reminded me why I read romance and why I love romance and why it's my favourite genre. It's gonna make me emotional just because it's just so personal, I think is the best way I can describe it. Oh, I can't. This is so scarily relatable. The idea of Henry Turner looking at my page that is mostly just unhinged book reviews. I mean, what was I made for if not to write unhinged Goodreads book reviews? I don't know. Bought her flowers. Why am I crying? He bought her flowers. No. Oh my god. He bought her flowers for helping him with the essay. This is setting the standards too high. Oh my goodness. I don't think it's going to be news to you, but I've not been able to put this book down. This is phenomenal. And let's just say it's giving 5-star energy, and I am 36% in the way through. It's a very long book. It's 430 pages, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to that because it means that we're going to get a lot of these characters. It's kind of a slow burn, which I kind of don't mind because it works for the story, and like slow burns are hit or miss. You know, sometimes I'm just impatient. I'm an impatient girl at heart. I'm sure a lot of us are, and sometimes I just want to get straight to it, but this is working and I'm happy. Henry is so quick with his comments. Like me, for example, I have a conversation and then I overthink for hours and hours after over things I should have said. He says the things that I think in the aftermath that I should have said, like, right off the bat. So he's quick with his comments and he's funny. They're both kind of funny. I don't have much more to say other than I'm really enjoying it so far. She's tutoring him, helping him with his classes, and he is now basically helping her experience things like in the dating realm for her books that she is writing. So it's kind of like a fake dating kind of bargain exchange sort of trope, but it's like, it's almost kind of not fake dating because it's kind of like they're both in denial. You know that it's not really fake dating, but they're calling it fake dating and they're acting like it's fake dating, but it's not fake dating. And I'm kind of a simp for that. So yeah, that's all for now. I am at the 60% mark. I am in love with this book. I think I said that in the previous clip. I am still loving this, and I'm kind of happy that it's kind of going slowly. Like, I don't want this to end. I want this to continue for the rest of my life, and I would happily sit and read this book forever. One of my favourite parts of this book is exploring the vulnerabilities of both Hallie and Henry's characters, and kind of, especially with Henry's character, exploring the kind of unexplained struggles that he has, and he's kind of just dealt with it and kind of just pushed it down this whole time. And Hallie comes to him and she's like, right, like, it doesn't have to be this hard, and we can help you, and we can find a better way for you to approach this, and it doesn't have to be this hard, essentially. And yeah, it just makes my heart really happy. And me and Hallie are too similar that it's scary. Like, I was already like, we're kind of similar, and then when I found out she'd cut her hair to collarbone length, I thought, right, the secret camera's got to be in here somewhere. Not sure where, I haven't found it yet, but I'll be continuing to look, don't you worry. Just the Taylor Swift references. I'm literally looking at the page. I reached for my phone and turned down my sad Taylor music playlist because Henry just got a nap through his funk, and he doesn't need to see me bawl my eyes out if This Is Me Trying comes on. So I don't actually have any words off the back of that, so I'm gonna shut up, process that, and continue to read. And probably wilt in my own sorrows, because this book is making me feel all the emotions. I can't stop crying reading this book, and I haven't quite worked out why yet. I'll try to, and I'll give you the feedback.
This book is making me feel so much. Like, my eyes just keep watering, and like little tears keep peeking out. These characters are everything. I am in love with this book. Good morning. It's actually my birthday today, which is kind of crazy, but I haven't long woken up, so excuse the appearance, but I just wanted to come on and say that I finally finished Daydream by Hannah Grace. And I also want to come on and say this was a 5-star read. My heart is so happy, and I think for me, this purely boils down to the fact that I could, for one, see myself in this book in both of the main characters, which kind of reminded me of A Brush with Love by Maisie Eddings, just the insane relatability factor. And I think I was saying before, like, I've never felt the looking in a mirror and a book personally reflecting me as much as I have with this book. Literally down to the fact that Hallie had just cut her hair short to collarbone length, which I did a week ago. So it's, you know, it is hitting hard, but this felt so much more than Icebreaker and Wildfire. Wildfire, I didn't love. I found it a bit slow, a bit boring, and I felt like I couldn't really connect with the characters. Icebreaker's just Icebreaker, you know, like that. Icebreaker's its own book, and you either kind of not love it or hate it. It's one of those books that's just a talking point. This is nothing like it. This is so vulnerable and so sincere, and I couldn't stop crying, and like my eyes were watering at just random points. And again, I don't know if it's because I just found it so painfully relatable and I could see myself in these characters that it felt close to home, or I was just a hormonal uncontrollable mess and this just got me. Hannah Grace kind of starts, there's like a letter from her at the beginning, and it says, following Icebreaker, a lot of you have been saying about Henry and how perhaps he's perceived as neurodivergent and is he going to get a diagnosis? And she says at the beginning, no, he's not going to get a diagnosis. He's going to have to live with these struggles and cope with these struggles. And she's saying how it reflects her own life and how long it took her to get her diagnosis. And I think that, again, that's a reality for a lot of people. And I think, like, I don't have anything bad to say about this book. It didn't feel like insta-love. It felt real. It felt realistic. It was just a great time. And like I said, I couldn't stop crying for God knows what reason, and we're not going to get into that because that's not Delph, but it was a 5-star read, and I feel like my heart feels very happy because she's been, I was going to say I've been searching for a 5-star read. I've been alright recently. I've read some good books. I read A Brush with Love, that was a 5-star read. So I've been doing okay with the 5 stars, but yeah, I'd highly recommend Daydream. I'm sure a lot of you have already read it because, well, probably not because it only came out last week, but this is definitely one you should be reading, even if you weren't the biggest fan of Icebreaker and Wildfire, because it's completely different. If I had to liken it to a book, I'm trying to think what I would liken it to that you may have read. Kind of like Liz Tom Ford's writing, so we're saying Mile High, The Right Move, Caught Up. It kind of is giving that in the sense that it's a longer book and it feels like more of a commitment, and in that sense it's more kind of emotional turmoil. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of a Liz Tomford book, I think is the best way I can describe it. So if you're a big fan of the Windy City series, you'll love this. And of course Henry, we were all waiting for Henry's book. We were not disappointed. I again was worried because I read all those highly anticipated reads in April and none of them lived up to my expectations. This exceeded my expectations and that makes me happy, and I'm so glad we got Henry's book. They did Henry justice. It was exactly how I pictured Henry to be, and it was just phenomenal. So go and get Daydream if you haven't already. It's out, it's ready to read. I loved this. And that adds another book to this year's 5-star list, which who would have thought? So, as you just saw, the next book we are reading for this video, Play Along by Liz Tomford. This is the 4th book in the Windy City series. I've loved the series so far. I've really enjoyed all of the books. I'm super excited for this. I've heard phenomenal things. I believe this came out in July, so it's been out for a couple of months now, and all I've heard is good reviews, so I'm very excited. I just read the prologue, and I'm going to give you a little rundown. So, the prologue is set 3 years prior, and Kennedy has been offered a job on the baseball team, and when she arrives, the kind of lead doctor guy is extremely sexist and is saying, oh, now that I've seen you, the only job I can offer you is an intern, is an assistant, rather than the job she actually got hired for originally because he thought she was a man. So she's kind of accepting it. She's not making a fuss. She wants to keep the job either way. And deep down, she's not happy and she's annoyed, but she doesn't feel like she can really speak up. Isaiah is hiding in the women's bathrooms because he knows that's the only place that he can get some peace and quiet from all of his teammates on the baseball team. And he overhears this conversation. And when she goes into the women's bathrooms after the kind of, not argument, but, you know, conversation with the head doctor, he kind of comes out the stall and he's like, oh, are you okay? Like, do you want to talk about it? And that's when they meet for the first time. And I think she ends up taking the job. And Isaiah's kind of like, you know, like all these books are in the sense, he's like, oh, she's pretty, like she's funny, and they're kind of eyeing her up in a sense. And at the end of the prologue, he finds out, like he sees a ring on her finger and finds out that he thinks that she's married. So there's that. So I'm about to get into the book now, which is now back to present day, which is 3 years after the prologue. So I'm assuming she's going to have taken the job. She's going to be settled in. Maybe she's worked her way up the ranks. I'm not sure, but we're going to get into it now. Oh my god. So it's now 3 years on and we find out that Kennedy was engaged, but that's now broken off. And basically ever since Isaiah found out she was single, he's been pining, he's been flirting, he's been shooting his shot, but
she's under very strict instructions to not get involved with any members of the team, and the head doctor already hates her, so it's not looking good for her job. We, my friends, have got ourselves a fake marriage situation. Yeah, I'm 50 pages through already. I'm steaming through this and I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I said that earlier, but I just love Liz Tom Ford's writing. Isaiah is so kind of cheeky and he really reminds me of Rory Miller from The Fake Out. Just the constant pining and just, yeah, the flirtatious energy is really reminding me of Rory Miller, which I'm a fan of. It is a bit later, I'm back. I made myself a matcha. And this one's actually good. The matchas I've been making have been really awful. And Sarah Crowley makes a lot of matchas and I took her inspiration to add honey and cinnamon and actually whisk it, and now it's not bitty because before it was just really bitty and powdery. This has changed the game. I feel like all I've done throughout this video is just drink various different drinks. Specifically today, I now have a chai latte. This is one of my all-time favourites. Maybe you're not going to believe this, or maybe you are. Who's to say? Moved over to my Kindle because I was getting sleepy, but I've binged this today. I am 50% of the way through Play Along. I started this morning. Like, that clip you saw was this morning, which is insane. We are in the like fake arranged marriage situation and Isaiah is convinced that he's going to somehow convince Kennedy that they should just stay married. They shouldn't get divorced and that it's going to work. They're going to be together forever. And he's just convinced that she's finally going to cave and they're going to last. Kennedy is less convinced. She kind of has a job, like interviews, final stage interviews for a job lined up on the other side of the country. And she's planning next season to escape her horrible boss and the sexist rat that he is and go and work for this other team that is offering her the position that she actually deserves and that's to her skill level. So she's basically kind of fake dating, fake in a marriage with Isaiah just to kind of get her boss off her back long enough that she can leave and transfer to her new job, because if there's any kind of hint of like funny business or foul play then she will be fired instantly, and her boss is definitely not afraid to do that. I'm not going to actually say what this refers to because it's kind of spoilers, but if you've read the book, you know Kai gives some sort of speech. Kai from Caught Up gives some sort of speech, and I literally, all I can think about is Troy in High School Musical 3 with his like speech in front of the whole crowd, you know, when they're outside. I guess the graduation speech. That's what it's giving, and that's all I can think about. I just finished Play Along by Liz Tom Ford. I loved this book. I think you may have probably gauged that from my reading and my updates as I was going through it. I just want to say off the bat, the found family aspect of this book literally revived me. Books like this with the found family and just the immense friendship just kind of heals me somehow, and this was ridden with it. I'm assuming the next book is going to be Rio's book, which I'm very excited about, and I've been waiting for that. I genuinely love Liz Tom Ford's books because she pairs the sports romance, the kind of light-hearted banter, the sweet, sincere characters. She pairs that with the past traumas they've experienced, their struggles, their difficulties in their fame, and she creates a mix that's not depressing to read, but it's heartfelt and it doesn't kind of negatively impact you. Like, it's still enjoyable and it's still lighthearted and it's still entertaining, but it is impactful, if that even begins to make sense. This was so close to a 5-star read for me. And it has the potential to be a 5-star read if I can't stop thinking about it. But I don't know. I loved it. Like, I loved it. Definitely a 4.75. And like I said, if not a 5-star, but
I can't, off the back of just finishing the book, I can't say this is a 5-star. What I will say, and I don't usually get this feeling, but all I now want to do is go on Pinterest and make a Pinterest board inspired by this book. That's all I want to do. So that, I think, speaks volumes in itself of just the vibes were immaculate. I really liked where this story went. There was no horrendous third act breakup ridiculousness that I hate. It was just, the vibes were vibing, and I think I'm gonna say that this is my favourite one of the series yet. I loved Kennedy's character. I especially loved Isaiah's character. I think he was my favourite out of the two in this book. Again, showcasing the vulnerabilities, and I feel like we don't get that a lot in MMCs. Liz Tom Ford does it really well. Him dealing with the grief of losing his mom and his anxieties around that, and just, you really felt like you were inside the character. And this is dual POV. You do get a first person point of view from Isaiah, and it really felt you could understand him even if you hadn't experienced anything like that. You kind of got it. I don't really think I have anything else to say other than I'm going to go and make a Pinterest board and write my Goodreads review. I'd highly recommend reading this if you're on the fence. I mean, all I've had is great things, but if you've read the rest of the series and you're not sure, you haven't loved the rest of the books, because I wasn't a big fan of the first one, which is Mile High, but it started to grow on me after I read The Right Move and caught up. I think it's between this and The Right Move as my favourites, but I have to reread The Right Move because it honestly wasn't that memorable. But yeah, this, I'm gonna give a 4.75. I'll write somewhere here if I end up changing my rating, but I think I'm going to stick with the 4.75 for now. Thank you for listening to me ramble about this, some would say, literary masterpiece. Go and read this if you haven't already. This was pretty perfect.